Hey, welcome to the channel. If this is the first time you've stopped by, hi, how's it going? And if you've been around for a while, welcome back. And in today's video, we are going to talk about my 5 favorite aviation / weather apps that I use as a helicopter pilot. Now, when I was going through flight school, I knew kinda of some of these, but now that I've actually been working in the industry as an instructor and as a commercial pilot, I really know what to use, and I've got these 5 ones that I use constantly, and they give me everything I need. So without further ado, we are going to get into it. And the first one is actually not an application, it is a website, and I wish I knew about this website earlier. This website is a game changer. The website is called US AIRNET Aviation Weather Report. So we are going to get into my computer and I am going to walk you through how to use the website. So if you just open a new Google tab and you type in US AIRNET Aviation Weather Report. I'm just gonna go to Google. It's the first one, usairnet.com. So you select your region, and I'm just gonna pick some random region. So let's pick Mississippi. So you press go, and then select a location. Let's pick Greenwood. Select that, go. And then when you scroll down, here is everything you need to know. So it starts with the date. So today is Sunday, March 13th, then tomorrow, Monday, March 14th, Tuesday, March 15th, and then the times across. And then they talk about the sky condition. So in this area, it's gonna be clear with 3% clouds. I mean, beautiful tomorrow. And then they talk about the temperature. So 36 degrees Fahrenheit, whatever. Wind chill right there. Wind direction. So right now it's coming out of the north, and then they talk about the wind speed. So at 3 knots with the maximum gusts. So 3 gusting 10 out of the north. Tomorrow at noon, it's gonna be clear, 55 degrees. Winds are gonna come out of the southwest at 8 gusting 15. So as a pilot and a flight instructor, that's really important information. Then you continue down, and then they talk about the lowest cloud base, and they talk about cloud coverage. So like tomorrow is going to be absolutely clear. Tonight is gonna be clear. Visibility, 10 miles. Flight, VFR, it'll tell you VFR, IFR, or low IFR. And then chance of precipitation, nothing. Precipitation amount in inches, nothing. Chance of thunder, nothing. Relative humidity, dew point, temperature, dew point spread. I mean, you can see there's not too much more information that you'd want to know. I want to show you my area because right now we're dealing with some crazy weather. So I live in New York. Let's see, New York right there. Go New York, select location. I live in the Albany area. So Albany right there. Okay, so right now it is it's 5:28 p.m. So the next block is 7 o'clock p.m. sky, 91% clouds, temperature 23 degrees Fahrenheit, wind chill 9 degrees, wind direction 300, so northwest, at 16 gusting 24. At 1 a.m. tonight, it's gonna be 16 gusting 29, so pretty strong winds. So cloud base 3,500, lowest cloud base 3,500, VFR 10 miles of visibility, chance of precipitation 73% because it's snowing right now. Chance of thunder 0, probability that precipitation is snow 100%. The reason is because it is below freezing, it's cold. Relative humidity, dew point, and temperature dew point spread. So you can see that this website is crazy good. I mean, as a pilot, and a helicopter pilot specifically, this is everything I need to know. I use this website pretty religiously. And I have to give a shout out to my bosses here at the company that I work. They're the ones that showed me this, and they're the ones that use this, and I have found extreme value in this website. So this is US AIRNET Aviation Weather Report. Check it out, I love it. Okay, number 2 is more of a well-known one, I guess. Maybe I just didn't know about the last one, but number 2 is SkyVector. Now, SkyVector is a great teaching platform for students to show them aviation maps like sectionals and stuff, but it also does a really good job of showing weather. So let's check that out. So when I jump in here and I type in skyvector.com, here is the entire country. Well, I can zoom out a little bit, but there's the country. Let's zoom into my area. So I'm located in the Northeast. We're gonna start So up here, you'll see that they've got a layers button. If you want to turn some of those layers off, you can see here are basically all the controls. So TFRs, they've got METARs and TAFs. You can take those off. TFRs, you can take those off. DROTAMs, pilot reports, segments, icing, turbulence, IFR conditions, and then the radar is really good. So we use that. I'm going to zoom into the Albany area where I am located. So what you'll see here is it is just all the sectionals for free online of the entire country. So the first thing you can do is you can plan a flight. So let's say we want to depart Albany and we want to go to JFK, so John F. Kennedy. So it'll plot the distance. It'll say the distance is 126 miles, estimated time and route 58 minutes. So it automatically puts in these presets of 110 knots and the altitude. But let's say that we're gonna fly slow, like 90 knots at 1500 feet. They say, hey, it's gonna take you an hour and 12 minutes at 90 knots. Or if we say 80 knots, 120 minutes or 70 knots. And let's put in 2,000 feet. I'm pretty sure it automatically accounts for wind. A couple of the other things I like about it, so if I zoom in, let's turn on some of these layers. So TFRs is beneficial. There's not too many TFRs out right now. Icing, this entire, you can see how the screen just went blue. This entire area has icing right now. Turbulence, this entire area has turbulence. And then if you click on it, it'll tell you specifically, and you can read up on that. Where the IFR conditions, IFR all around, mountain obscuration for this specific area. And then the one that I really like is this weather radar, this first one. And if you turn that weather radar on, this is just the generic radar, and I have found it to be extremely accurate. Blue is snow, green is rain, just as you typically expect. And then what I really like is, let me come back over here to where I'm located. Let's go to winds aloft. So if I scroll down to winds aloft, you can see the wind barbs, and then you can choose your altitude. So I'm gonna put this right now, and then let's pressure altitude, like let's say 1800. So right here, the winds are coming out of the west-northwest at 30 knots here, and you can even zoom in a little bit. Whoops, let's zoom in. And let's show 5,000 feet. Okay, winds are coming out of the north at 45 knots. So pretty strong winds there. So you can see that it has a ton of tools that are very beneficial. The last thing that I like SkyVector for is when you pull up just an airport. So let's talk about Albany here. I'm gonna delete the flight plan. So I'm just gonna delete that and delete that. And if I come over here and I turn on METARs, what this does is all the airports on here, it gives them a color. So similar to FOREFLIGHT, but anything in green is VFR, blue is marginal VFR, and then red is IFR, and pink is low IFR. So you can zoom in here. Let's go into the New York area. I'm gonna turn the radar off. Newark, here you go. What it does is it says it's VFR right now, and then it'll actually put the TAF on there. So I'm not gonna read through the TAF, but all the information is on there. So you can like hover over it and see what the current weather is. So you can see it does a ton. US AIRNET along with SkyVector, you've got a pretty solid awareness of what the weather is doing. And when I come into work, I'll just log onto these websites real quick, just check them. 5 minutes, and then I've got a pretty good awareness of what the weather is going to do for the whole day, what's on the radar moving in, and what my proposed flight plans are going to be. The third one is actually an app, finally, and this is called AERO-WEATHER LITE. Now what this does is it tells me all the METARs and TAFs for all the airports around my immediate area and anywhere I want to know. Alright, so here we are on my iPad. You can use this on your phone or your iPad if you have one. I think it's also available on Android, but I'm not sure. So the app is called AERO-WEATHER LITE, and I will pull it up in the App Store so you know what to look for. It's called AERO-WEATHER LITE by Leghorn AG. There is an option for a paid version, but I don't need it. Everything that I do the LITE version, the free version, can do for free. So if we actually open the app down here, AERO-WEATHER LITE, what you can do is over here on the left, you can add a certain airport that you want. So you can just put in the airport's identifier, or you can search up the city. But let's put in Teterboro. So TEB, Teterboro, New Jersey. You just add that and then save it. And then over here to the left is all of your saved airports. And immediately it's got pretty much all the information you need, and it tells you whether it's VFR or IFR. So let's click on Albany International. So what you'll see is Albany International, Albany, New York, United States, sunrise at 6:13, sunset at 5:57. And then down here you have the METAR and the TAF. So it'll give you the raw version of your METAR and your TAF, but you can also click on decode and it'll decode it for you. METAR for Albany, 3/12/22, 5:16 p.m., 26 minutes ago. Wind 290 at 22, gusting 33. Visibility 4 miles. Light snow, scattered clouds at 2,400, broken at 4,400, overcast at 7,000. Temperature 21, dew point 10, altimeter 2941. And then you can go into the TAF section. So forecast from 5 p.m. Today to 1 p.m. tomorrow. 18 gusting 32. And then what I really like is just looking like a day out. So tomorrow the 13th at 7 a.m. 280 at 14, gusting 25, 6 or more miles, few clouds at 5,000. So as a flight instructor, I can look at this information and say winds tomorrow are going to be 14, gusting 25 at 7 a.m. The likelihood of me flying is probably pretty low. That's probably going to be too windy. Now, the super cool thing is if you have an Apple Watch, it will put the METAR on your Apple Watch. So let me show you real quick here. If you just, so here's Schenectady County. I can just look at my watch and, whoops, I can just scroll through here and I can look at the weather. Now if I go back, I've got my favorites. Hopefully you guys can see that. Favorites, Albany right there, and I can just scroll through that. So you can see that this is very useful. I mean, just to have on my watch the METAR of the local airport, it's a great resource. So AERO-WEATHER, great tool, check it out. Now, the fourth one that you might know already is Windy. Windy is a great app. I use this on my iPad primarily, as well as my phone, but let's jump into my iPad and talk about it. I just like Windy because first off, it's a gorgeous app and I like all the colors and things. But the most benefit I get out of a Windy is when you come over here to the right bottom hand corner and you click on those 3 little white lines, you've got all of these different controls, and I'll say first, go up to settings in the top and set what parameters you like. So I like my wind in miles per hour, I like my temperature in Celsius, my rain in inches, waves in feet, snow in inches, pressure in inches of mercury, altitude in feet, distance in nautical miles, and whatever satellite is. So set those parameters to what you like. And I like wind, so you can click on wind, and then down here over on the right bottom hand corner, you can control the altitude you want. So at 2,000 feet, you can see the winds really pick up. And then you can just click on different areas, and you can see what the winds are doing. So let's click on winds at 3,000 feet. You can see it really picks up, 44 knots. So I would not want to be flying right now, especially super high up. And you can see overall the winds are coming from the northwest. So what I would use this for is, like, let's say I was going out to Boston over here. If I was going from Albany to Boston, I could use this to choose altitudes to fly at. So we're at 330 feet above sea level right now. Let's choose like 2,500. You can see it's gonna be brutal. In Albany right now, 38 miles. In Boston, 37. Let's say at 3,000. 42 miles. So I mean, I would have a tailwind on my way out there and then a headwind coming back. So that's very beneficial. Rain and thunder, 0.4 inches of snow, new snow, thunderstorms, none. Temperature, minus 10 degrees Celsius. And once again, you can go up to settings in the top right here, and I can just change this over to Fahrenheit, and I can just see what my temperature is. Clouds is really beneficial. So over the Albany area, 66% clouds, and then I like cloud-based for the helicopter stuff. So you've got all of those parameters, air pressure. I can just click. One thing I really like to do is teach my students about how pressure systems move. So low pressure systems move counterclockwise. So in here, we've got 28.64 inches of mercury, very low pressure. And then like over here, south of Alaska, we have very low pressure there. And then high pressure right here. So 30.32, and it moves clockwise. So you can see how this is beneficial. So that's windy. I do use it, not as much as I'd like to, but the final app that we're going to talk about is FOREFLIGHT. FOREFLIGHT is like the golden standard. That's what everyone pretty much uses. I know there's Garmin Pilot, but FOREFLIGHT is really that name brand one, and I like FOREFLIGHT. The number one use I get out of FOREFLIGHT is in-flight usage. I don't really use FOREFLIGHT for pre-flight purposes. I'll use SkyVector and US AIRNET for pre-flight stuff, but in-flight, FOREFLIGHT is the best. So let's jump into it and let's talk about it. What I really like FOREFLIGHT for is airport information. So here is Albany. If I click on that right there, so immediately when you click on an airport, you get weather. And then if you click on daily, I do like the daily thing. You can see, if I go to Sunday the 13th at 8 a.m., VFR, no ceilings, 10 miles of visibility, winds 280 at 13, gusting 25, 18 degrees Fahrenheit, and 3% chance of cloud, or of weather, rain, snow, sorry. And then if I click on Monday at 9 a.m., so this is very beneficial. And then Wednesday, I mean, you can see very poor. So I do like that. I really like it for like the FBO and airport information. So they've got Millionaire, 129.7, 100 low lead, and Jet A prices, and oh my god, it's so expensive right now. But then they've got like the runways, so runway 119, and the best runway to use for the winds, which is cool. Procedures, departure, arrival, and approach procedures. So this is the only app that I have that pulls up instrument approaches, so right there it's worth its weight. So like the ILS runway 19 into Albany, I mean, just having these loaded up is invaluable, and NOTAMs as well. So FOREFLIGHT is really like the golden standard. And then obviously the airport diagram is really important information to have as well. I also like it for flight planning purposes. So just like quick calculations, if you just put your two fingers on the screen, you can get basically a plotter, and you can go like Albany to Glens Falls, and I can see immediately that it is 35 miles, and it's a 0 to 8 magnetic heading. So FOREFLIGHT, I mean, it's just invaluable. Pretty much the best. What I'll do in flight is, like, if I'm flying from like here to Boston, I will come up here to the top left, and I will click on radar composite, and I will, this radar, you can see in the top left right there, over in this area, you can see that this was updated at 6:30 p.m. So this updates very accurately and constantly. And like I said, I really do like FOREFLIGHT. It is pretty much the golden standard. It is the best overall, and it pretty much does every category the best of. FOREFLIGHT or any of these other apps or websites have not sponsored me for this video, but I would love to be a FOREFLIGHT sponsor. I really appreciate the app, like many aviators do. So those are my 5 favorite apps and websites. I get intense value out of all of them. I will use all of them at different phases of flight. So prior to flight, US AirNav and SkyVector. In flight, definitely FOREFLIGHT. Windy is a great use as well. And then AERO-WEATHER on my watch or on my phone, just to have METAR and TAF information. I really get pretty much a great overall weather picture and flight planning information, everything I need from these 5. And I want to know if you guys found value in this. If you did, go ahead and smash that like button, and let me know if you use these websites and applications as well. I will give an honorable mention right now to the HEMS tool on the FAA government website. You can just search up HEMS tool, HEMS tool, helicopter EMS tool. It works and it's great, but it's just not as good as FOREFLIGHT and US AIRNET. So the HEMS tool is another resource I'll use. And you can see these are so easy to use. Like when I get into the office in the morning, I mean, 10 minutes, I can just search up and just know what the weather is going to be for the day. I mean, the benefit of living in 2022 and being a pilot, we have most, if not all, the information we could ever need. So these are what I use. If you guys like this video, once again, please smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me for more aviation content, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.